reality, and we'll be talking about controlling the robotic arm in augmented reality. My name is V.S. Rajashekar, and I am a project assistant at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So the download link for today is this. I hope everyone has downloaded the program on a computer. Whether it is working or not, we are not going to test it right now. I'll be posting it in the chat again. So if you have downloaded it, we can proceed. Can I proceed?
Yeah, they are ready, it seems.
Okay.
Yes, you can proceed, sir.
So
Garib
augmented
Kandale.
reality.
Participants, kindly mute your mic.
అదే గరీబ్ ఖాన్ అని చెప్పినావు కదా నువ్వు.
Okay, I'll start speaking. I
Yes.
hope you're able to hear. Augmented reality. So augmented reality is actually a technology which superimposes a computer-generated image on users' view of the world. I request Kamala to mute the audio. Okay. So thus we'll be getting a composite view of the real world.
Make a noise. Aditi, make a noise. Hello.
Then what happens in augmented reality is that we'll be getting a superimposed computer generated image, and we'll be getting a user's view in real world, and we'll be getting a composite view. So some of the applications of augmented reality can be seen over here. So in warehouse monitoring, so if there is a warehouse, that is place where things are stored, we can use augmented reality to see the number of items remaining in the stock. So the number of items remaining in the stock can be seen in the picture below. You can show your mobile phone or your tablet so that you can find out the stock which is left over, and accordingly the system will store the data, and it will send the information to the supplier. So the next thing is that appearance check. So if you are going to a furniture store or online furniture store, the sofa or a chair that is shown there, you can see whether it suits the appearance in your house. So what you can do is you can actually bring it inside your mobile phone, a CAD model of it, and you can place, you open your camera and project the corner of your house, and you can see the furniture sitting over there. But there won't be any furniture over there, but you can see it in the augmented world. So this is one of the example where augmented reality can be used. So checking out places. So checking out places in, if you're going to a new place and you want to know whether the hotel you're going to stay or the hotel which you find nearby is good or not, you can open your mobile phone and you can see whether it has a good rating or not. So the restaurant which is nearby also can be seen, restaurant nearby can also be seen in the picture which is over here. It also tells about the information about how much distance is the railway station nearby. So if you show an image of, if you show your camera over the building, so it will tell, give the information about the building. So understanding the hardware. So in laboratories, there will be so there will be a lot of motors in the laboratories and a lot of other hardwares. So if you want to understand the hardware, you can use a tablet or a big screen or a mobile phone and you can show the camera over it. So what happens is that the augmented reality will tell you what are the various parts in the hardware, and you can learn the hardware. So I hope I have given a brief introduction about what augmented reality is. So in today's workshop, what we will be doing is we'll be seeing how to control a how to control a robot arm which we created yesterday in a augmented reality. So what I'll be doing now is, yesterday a few of them had a doubt like how a Blender file can be imported into this processing. So I'll be dealing about it right now. So what happens is you have to declare the P shape, and you have to declare base, body, shoulder, and the arm. So you have to give the name of the file. You have to give the name of the shape which you are going to import. Then what you have to do is you have to get into void.
ఏమనిపించిందంటే ఇట్లనే చేస్తే ఏదో ఒకటి
JJ ma'am, if it is possible, please mute all the audience. Okay. So if we'll be going into the void setup, and we'll be using the body, and we'll be bringing in, we have to put the body.obj, that is the object which we created in Blender, inside the data folder, and we have to click on load. We have to declare load shape body.object, and the body.object is assigned to the word body. So you can use that body wherever you want inside the program. So the shape body has been declared over here, and the body will be used over here. This is how you have to bring in the object file .obj file inside the thing. So I hope this clarifies your doubt on how to bring objects from Blender into processing. So if it is clear, I can move on to today's program. Magijan is asking how are the components assembled. So what components? Okay, you are asking about the components inside this body, shoulder. Okay, so what happens here is you have to bring in the first you have to bring in the base. So you have to declare push matrix, and you have to translate it to by 0, 0, 0, and then you have to scale it by a factor, and you have to declare base. Then you have to bring in the body inside it. So you have to bring in next body inside it. So this is how you have to bring in one by one by declaring shape and the object name. So next you have to bring in shape shoulder cylinder and shape arm. This is how you have to bring in. IMN is asking how to calculate the scale factor. Scale factor actually depends on how big is the model in Blender and how big it appears in processing. So if the scale factor is going to be 1, it will be very big in processing. Jagdish Reddy, yesterday I had shown you how to export from Blender to processing. You can watch yesterday's video so that you can get a clarity. Godwin is asking how they can be specifically positioned as assembly. That is what I explained now. So you have to declare a function. Inside that function, first you have to declare the base. You have to then you need not translate the body because it is going to be fixed to the base and you are going to rotate, and then you have to move it by translate it. That is the shoulder cylinder is going to be translated by minus 500 points, that is resolutions on the screen, and then it is going to be assembled, and then this arm is going to be translated by 825 and 200. This you have to do it by doing a little bit of math on the graph, and you have to bring it, and you can also do it by trial and error. So, okay, I'll show you the output of today so that everyone can be comfortable with what the output will be. So if you run today's program, a video will appear. Here, what you need to do is you have to show the hero marker. Once you show the hero marker, what happens is that the virtual robot will appear. If you're not going to show the hero marker, the virtual robot will not appear, and this is what is known as augmented reality. So the hero marker appears, and what you will be doing is, as usual, what you did on day 2, you will be moving the manipulating the augmented robo using the slider which is available over here. You can take it back also, but make sure that the hero marker is always parallel to the camera. So this is the output of today's program. So if you want to, this robot is like this. If you want to make the robot upside down, you need to take the hero and turn it upside down. And make sure you do not hold inside the hero marker. If you're going to show your hand inside the hero marker, then the robot will go off. So you can make the robot upside down and you can try to manipulate it. So this is the output of today's program. So it is necessary to have a hero marker, Sanjay Satish Krishna, because and others who are asking whether it is compulsory to have a hero marker. Because we have declared over here that we are going to use the hero pattern. So this pattern, hero pattern, we are going to use. If you want to use some other pattern also, you can use, but you have to use the pattern accordingly. You can also use some other code also. So before that, I'll show you what library has to be installed. I had showed you on day 1. You have to go to Sketch, import library, and then add library. You have to scroll down. NYAR4ESG. This NYART toolkit has to be installed. So since it is already installed, it's not showing. And if now this library has to be installed, and most importantly, the video has to be installed. It comes pre-installed with processing. I have seen some of the participants telling that the video line is throwing error, so you have to install the video also. if it is not installed. So this library has to be installed. If it is installed, then a green circle with a white tick will be appearing on the screen. So hero marker was mailed to you and sent in WhatsApp also, Nanda Kishore. And for those who do not have a hero marker, we can use our mobile phone also. The hero marker, you can, if you don't have a printout of the hero marker, you can use your mobile phone, but make sure that there is no reflection of light. Since there is a reflection of light, it is not showing.
It's visible, sir.
So this hero marker should be taken a printout, but you can also use it from the mobile phone, but you need to little bit calibrate it. There's an error on line 89 for Christopher. What's the error on line 89? So the hero marker cannot be sent on the chat box because it's a PDF file, Nanda Kishore. It was sent in the email. Please check your email. Jagdish Reddy is asking, is there any necessity for connecting another cam or else another lab cam? No. Whatever camera is available with you, you can connect. But make sure that it is the camera is not the zoom camera is disabled. Pragdish, you can learn to write such programs by practicing it. You can just observe what program, sample programs which are being given for 5 days. And you should have an idea in your mind, like what project you want to do. And by combining 2 to 3 programs together, you can start making new programs. Line 13. Prithvi is telling that line 13 is error. That is because the video library is not installed in your system. That is why it is showing a red color. Sai Sudhir, it is showing that it is missing because the data folder and the
Quiet
program
everyone.
is not in the same one. Sai Sudhir, it is because the body.obj is not in the data folder. The data folder is not, and the data folder and the program are not in the same folder.
Mute.
Okay, I'll show you which video library has to be installed. So this video library has to be installed. So everyone should have a camera attached to your computer. Only then it will be able to, you will be able to see it. Neha Sundar, what error it is showing? Nandakishore, you can show the hero marker in front of the camera and you can see the and you can see the output. So participants, I like to tell you one thing. It might be very harsh for you. If you have any error, please try to use your favorite search engine like Google or Yahoo to find out what the error is. If you're not able to solve the error, then get back to us, because solving every error is not possible, and all the errors which occur has already been solved on the internet. This kind of practice has to be initiated by you. Only then you will be able to solve your own problems when the workshop is over. Okay, now I'll start explaining you what the program is about. So import processing.video means that you are importing the video library of processing. Then you are importing this library, that is NYAR4PSG. This is the AR, that is augmented reality library, which we will be using further. Then control P5 is being used to create the slider. Then we are declaring P-shape, that is the CAD model which we are going to bring in from Blender. So I have already brought the CAD model from Blender to here, and it is in the data folder, which is over here. So if you open this, you'll be able to see the shoulder cylinder. You'll be seeing the arm, base, and the other objects. That is what is base. You're declaring, giving the name base, body, shoulder cylinder, and arm. So control P5 and small control P5 means that you're declaring a control P5 variable called control P5, and we are declaring a capture dot named cam. That is, we are going to create a cam. So multi-marker means that we are creating a marker called NYA. So that is what is called as the hero marker. We'll be using hero here, and rest all are we are initializing the functions. So we'll be going inside the void setup, which will be executed only once. So the size of the screen will be 640 by 480 by default, and it is set to be 3D in nature. The color mode is RGB, and it is set to be 100. So once the program starts, the multi-marker version will be printed. So the entire program the video has to be smooth. So the smooth function has been included, and the frame rate has to be set to 30 FPS, 30 frames per second. So now we are assigning the body which we declared over here. This body, we are assigning the load shape body.obj. that is this body dot obj, which we created in Blender, put it inside the data folder. We are assigning it to this variable. So similarly, base, shoulder cylinder, and arm are being assigned to the Blender objects. Next, we are listing out the cameras which are available, and we are printing the array of cameras. So next, what we are doing is we are starting the capture, and this is the capture camera frames which are assigned to this. So NYA is the marker, multi-marker, which we declared over here. So NYA will be assigning a new multi-marker with width and height with a configuration NY, this configuration, and NY add marker with hero of size 80. So now the camera is started. So next what happens is we are declaring the slider which we saw on the top left side. So like I explained on day 2, we are giving the value of base, the slider name to be base, position, size, range, color value, color label, active color, foreground color, and background color. So these are being set for the base. Similarly, for the shoulder and for the arm is being done. So then we are coming to the, if you want to see the pattern of the hero, there is a file called as patt.hero. So you can open it and see. So these are the values of the, it will be ranging from 0 to 255. So the values, these values denote the presence of the black dot in the pixel. This will be used to detect the hero marker in the program. So void draw. So coming to void draw, what we are doing is we are starting the camera and checking whether it is available, and then we are going to begin the background, and we are going to check whether the marker is existing. If it is existing, then we will be returning, and we will be starting to begin transformation, and we will be scaling the model, that is the entire robo, by 50%. If we are going to give 1 over here, the robo size will be very big. So I will scale down the robo size to half. That is if the 50 by 50%. Next, what happens is I am calling the void base dot fixed. So these lines which I have commented can be used if you are going to control the robo using a potentiometer, which I will be talking about in the next 15 minutes. So what happens is that the void draw base fixed. So when this function is being called, it goes to this function and it goes to the base link. So you can put this program inside this also, but I have, for better clarification, I have created a base link, and it comes over here. So what happens here is we are going to rotate the CAD model by 180 degree along the y-axis and above the z-axis, so that the hero marker faces the object in the right position. Then what happens is that we are going to push the matrix, and these steps are similar to what we saw on day 2. Now we are translating it by 0, 0, 0. This line can be removed if you wish to, but I kept it because if you want to translate the base to some other position, you can just change the value over here. And the base scale value is 0.12. Shape is base, which we declared on the top. Then push matrix starts, and we are declaring the base in radians. So what happens here is the base is going to rotate, the body is going to rotate along the y-axis by a factor angle by base, given by base. The base value is given by the slider. So whatever value is given in the slider over here will be passed down to this base. So this value will be passed on to the body, and the body moves accordingly. Similarly for the shoulder and for the arm. So with this, we come to the end of the explanation for the program. So this is how we do the program. I'll run it once again. So it starts, the hero marker is over here. So you can see the robo over here. So if the hero marker is missing or it is in the sidewise, it won't be able to detect. It has to be parallel to the camera. So you can manipulate it using the slider which is on the top. If you are going to give the shoulder a value, it's going to change accordingly. So the scale factor, someone was asking what will happen if I change the scale factor. So this is for the whole model. If I'm going to change the scale factor to 0.25, and if I'm going to run it, the robo will be really small. You can see the robo will be really small. And if I'm going to give it as 1, and if I'm going to run it, the robo will be very big. You cannot actually see the robo entirely. So it is very big. So you have to give the scale factor to be 0.5 in this case, so that you can clearly visualize it properly. So Mahijan, you can try to download a package. You can try to find out how to download an independent library and place it in the destination, and then you can try to install, run the program. So that is also possible. You can try to find out in the internet how to download a contributed library. So I hope it is working for many of them. If it is working for you, please post yes. So if you want to use a different marker like other than hero, then you have to change over here. So a pat.hero, this you have to change it to whatever you want to. So that you have to get the numbers properly. You have to convert it online, and you have to put it in the data file and give the proper name over here. You have to download this library for this augmented reality. Nandakishore. Okay, now I'll be showing you something interesting which you can do. Please listen. You can control the whatever augmented reality thing which you have seen right now using potentiometers. So same thing, a robo can be controlled using a potentiometer using the Arduino. For this, you need a 10K potentiometer and Arduino board, and you need to uncomment some of the lines in the program. And you need to use the Arduino Fermanto program for this. So now we can also control other robots, like something which I controlled here. It is like a robotic lizard, which is controlled using a potentiometer. So these kind of data you can show it to your while presenting something on the screen. You can show these kind of things so that you can project your sales figure or your projection for next year or something like that. So next we'll be seeing how a sensor input is being used to control the graphics on the computer. For this, you'll be using MPU 6050 accelerometer cum gyroscope. For this is using Arduino. So this, whatever you change, angle you change in the real world, this graphics is going to change accordingly. So these kind of projects are available on the internet. I'll be sending you the link as soon as the day 4 is over. You can try it. So you can, instead of this, you can even have your own cartoon figures. You can even have your own Blender models, and you can try to control it. So next I'll be showing a complex robo which was created in a processing environment, which I did it as a project. And this is it will be a combination of serial and parallel manipulator. I have made that robo, open source robo. So that robo can be used as a hybrid manipulator, that is a serial manipulator as well as a parallel manipulator. It has modules with it, and those modules can be connected in series so that it becomes a serial manipulator, or it can be connected in parallel so that it can be a parallel manipulator. So this is called as a reconfigurable modular hybrid parallel manipulator. So you can see the three modules on the top, and these are connected in series, and in the processing environment you can control this model. So this is a 6-axis robo. So both the robos are 6-axis. That is the serial as well as the parallel robo. Both are 6-axis. That is the novelty in this robo. So the purpose of showing this video is that you can even create complex robos in processing environment once you understand the basic of how to create a 3-axis robo. So this is the X rotation of the robo, which is on the top right corner. So the three modules are connected in series. The base is being moved. So this is going to be a parallel manipulator. So those three modules are remodeled, that is reassembled, so that it acts as a parallel manipulator, which can be used for flight simulators. The serial thing can be used for welding and other purposes. This can be used for parallel manipulators. And with this, I'm coming to the end of day 4. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the chat section. We have still about 13 minutes remaining.
Sir, I have got a doubt.
Yeah.
Actually, you said you are going to vary the potentiometer. So that is in turn you are
Yeah.
varying the resistance. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In what way the resistance variation causes a movement in the robot?
So what happens is that the resistant values, it will change from 0 to say, it is converted from 0 to 180, that scale.
Okay.
So from that motion, that motion is given to the robo over here. I hope you got your answer.
Yeah. So along with the hero marker, we need this controller.
Yeah, along with the hero marker.
Okay.
Even without that also we can do. But I have shown the hero marker because it will be a added advantage to show a virtual arm also with it. Virtual reality, augmented reality also with it. Combining augmented reality with it.
Okay. Yes, participants, you can post your questions in the chat box and clarify your doubts.
So Gopal is asking, can you share the file for understanding 6-axis robo? Yeah, I can share you the file. You can send me an email personally. I'll be able to share the slide for the file for you. Yes, you can have the ARM with this. You can have the hardware with this, Rajaguru. So I had shown it on day 2, I think. One second, I'll pass the screen. So this is how it can be controlled using the hardware. The hardware can be used, and you can control it in processing, and you can also control it in reality. So So MD Saab is telling that he's not able to see the pattern when he's not able to see the robo when the pattern is shown. Please show the pattern parallel to the camera and make sure that the lighting conditions are good. Only then it will be you'll be able to see the robo. So you can control the real robo also using the thing. If a hero marker is double, then will the robo be double? So as of now, I have given only for one hero marker. If you want to identify many hero markers in the hero library, there is a program to identify multiple hero markers. You can go through that so that multiple hero markers can be found out, Ranjit Kumar. Ayman is saying it is appearing on the screen without even showing the marker. I'm not sure why it is appearing on the screen without showing the marker. Yeah, Rajakur, I can send you the configuration of the robot pin and the pin configuration and the robot arm. So Gopal is asking what are the lines included in the program for controlling the hardware. So in the program, if you're going to see this import processing dot serial, this line is added. So then you have to start serial my port so that the port line has to be, this line has to be uncommented. Only when if you're connecting it to the Arduino, then this line has to be uncommented, line number 9. Line number 12 has to be uncommented. Then line number 39, 40, 41, and line number 84, so that you can find out which value is being printed. And from line number 98 to line number 133 has to be uncommented. Then you have to comment this line and uncomment this line, line number 153. Only then this is showing in red because we haven't uncommented the lines on the top. That is why it is showing in red. So if you're going to put the values of the potentiometer, those values will be coming over here, and you have to comment these base thing. In car making industry, how controlled the lot of robots, Ranjit Kumar? It is controlled using a time frequency diagram. You have to, it is pre-programmed actually. Everything is programmed in advance so that it keeps on going as per the plan before. So there is a YouTube channel called as Coding Train. So the person in that is called as Daniel Schiffman. He teaches this very well. So instead of going for books, it's better to go for videos, Sriram Balaji. Okay, I'll
I
tell a
think,
brief.
participants are very clear about this
Okay.
today's session.
I'll tell a brief introduction about tomorrow's thing. Tomorrow we'll be seeing about how to track an object uh, in 2D space. That is, if you move a different colored object in space, then it will be, you can trace it in space. That is how you can track it in space. That you will be seeing tomorrow, and I'll be sending the program tomorrow morning. If you are able to run today's program, I'm sure that tomorrow's program also you will be able to run, because it will be using processing the dot video only. That library alone it will be using tomorrow. So I'm sure that it will be interesting, because you can track different objects, you can move it with your hand, and you can see it. You can also track any object in a pre-recorded video also. This will be very helpful for researchers, because if you're having a mobile robo, and if you want to see whether it has followed the path which you wanted it to follow, a path trajectory which you have given it, and if whether it's following the trajectory or not, and that thing will be very useful.
One more question is there, sir. Please, how IoT work?
IoT, Internet of Things, I'm not sure, because haven't worked in that area. And this robo can be controlled using internet. That is, you can use some software like remote desktop or team viewer, and you can ask your friends to connect over that. Or you can, there's a website called Remo TV, remo.tv. You can go inside remote.tv, and there will be a lot of teleoperated robots which are available over there throughout the world. So you can operate those robots, but these robots are coming through Raspberry Pi. So if you have a Raspberry Pi, one of the person who attended the workshop said that he has Raspberry Pi. Maybe others who don't have it also can try and buy it. So you can get inside this, and you can browse for some robots, and you can go inside this robo, and there is a robo called as COVID Slapper. So there is a robo, and if you press the S button on the keyboard, you can slap the robo. So you can see it slapping the robo. So this kind of things you can connect it through the internet, and you can try to access. So remo.tv is the website name. So with this, I think we can wind up today's section. And if you have any doubts regarding today's session, you can mail me at vsrajashekar@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to address your issues. Thank you very much for joining today.
Yeah, sir, Harita is asking, can you send all the libraries that are to be downloaded both for today's session as well as tomorrow's session?
Yeah, sure. In the group, I'll be sending. WhatsApp group.
And one more person, Raghav. I also wanted to learn Arduino, so please share some videos.
Yeah, sure. I can share the videos.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. The session is really interesting. We get feedbacks from the participants. They are enjoying the sessions, and almost we are at the end. Tomorrow we are going to learn a new thing. I think participants, please join us by 2:45 tomorrow sharp. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rajashekar sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.